And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Rosenthal Report. Good morning, Jeremy Rosenthal. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you today?
Great. It's funny because somebody had asked me recently. I gave out your office number, so I'm not giving out like a personal number. But I had two questions. Somebody who was in Texas who was looking for a solid attorney. I gave them your information. And then I do work for a London network, and I'm on there every once in a while for the U.S. opinion on what's going on in the world. And they were looking for an attorney, and I sent them to you as well. So hopefully
you're trying to get a commission?
Maybe we'll see you on in London.
Listen, okay, anytime there's a real high-dollar person who comes in with a big legal problem, I just assume it's from Utica. I'm like, yes, that's
coming from here. It's
right. I ask them, do you remember who sent you? And they say, yeah, maybe, no. And I'm like, God, another Utica. This is a Utica one.
Utica.
Thank you.
Because we always end every conversation by saying, don't tell them I sent you.
Okay, so I have to ask you a question. Okay, so you just said something just totally fascinating to me. Is Andrew in Fort Myers? Is that where he is?
That is correct.
Are you allowed to say?
Yes.
Okay, because I was on the radio in Fort Myers about 20 minutes ago, and they knew a lot of things about me that I was like, wait, because I don't talk to them much, and they're like, we know somebody. Got it. Okay.
That is probably exactly where that's coming from. Absolutely right. So see how this works? It's such a small country we live in.
Oh my gosh. It was creepy. It was like they were like playing Guess Your Weight, and I was like, how do you people know this? It was a little odd.
Here we are, and you're in such better hands upstate New York than sunny Florida. All right, let's start with, as you know, we do three topics. Jeremy, of course, is one of the great attorneys in the great state of Texas. And here's topic number one. Half the nation's states now have laws banning or regulating cell phones in schools. We're seeing that happen here in New York. I have my own opinion about this, but it just recently passed. Is this being challenged legally?
I don't think they can, really. There's not a lot to challenge. You can when you run a school, you control what comes in there. You can have a metal detector. You can't have drugs in there. You can, you micromanage the school lunches, right? Peanut allergies and things like that. I think of a school phone ban. I think it's going to stand up. I really do. And it does have, look, half the states can't agree on anything. And if you've got this degree of consensus, it's happening.
So it's funny because my belief is, I
knew you were going to share it.
I'm Rand Paul to an extent. My belief is that, listen, the schools, it's up to each individual school to find the policy that works best for them. Having the state create a law that is like, all right, you all have to follow this law. Although I think in New York's case, we don't really know the details yet because it's just coming out after the budget is passed. But I do think they're allowing schools to kind of do a little a la carte action and do what they feel is best. But, if the school can't get control of these kids and, they're cheating on their phones or they're on their phones and not paying attention, maybe there does need to be a law.
I think if there is pushback, it's that people are saying, well, the local school districts need to have control of this, because what happens if you have a special needs child? What happens if you have somebody who needs to do this? What if it's like my child who, listen, my kid, her friends are on their phone all day, every day. If I take my child's phone away for just 2 hours a day, she's going to be way behind. My child has to have her phone to be happy.
Yes.
And that's my job, is to make her happy every minute of every day.
Yes. That is that is parenthood.
Who am I to deprive her of that, right?
That is Parenthood 2025. There's just no doubt.
Thank you.
All right. But you're right. And a lot of these things people question that schools end up doing, and ultimately, like for instance, there was all of this talk when the student read the speech at one of the colleges of NYU, and they went off script and went anti-Jewish or anti-Israel in their Palestinian protest. and they pulled the kid's diploma. And guess what? That kid was told beforehand, do not do this. It was an approved script. They didn't follow the rules. And schools have rules. And ultimately, I would think, Jeremy, this is, if you allow your commencement speakers to go up there and go willy-nilly and political, you got 2,000 people sitting in the auditorium. All of a sudden, you could have a fight break out. I mean, you got to protect people, and that's one of the roles they have to play.
John Cougar Mellencamp said it the best. I find authority always wins.
The great authority song. All right, number 2, Delaware's governor signs a bill allowing terminally ill patients to end their lives. Interesting.
Fascinating stuff. 11 states have gotten on board with this, and you have to have a terminal diagnosis. That diagnosis has to be imminent within 6 months, and the doctor prescribes you something which you have to self-administer. You can't have a hospital do it. You can't have hospice do it. You have to be able to ingest it on your own to assure voluntariness, I guess. But this is a movement that's gaining a touch of steam throughout the country.
Yeah, it's. I mean, why is this important? I'm asking this of an attorney here, because ultimately, if you want to off yourself, you can do it without anybody's approval.
Yeah.
You find a way to do it, sadly, and people do it. But I'm assuming this has a lot to do with finances and what you can get after suicide or not get. I mean, is that correct?
I would think that's probably a big player. There's all sorts of things when you think about it. And I think a lot of this is for, I think, everybody around the person that's the subject here, because when you're in hospice, when you're in the hospital, these are people who might want to help you but can't, and they're going to get in trouble if they try to do something or suggest something that is inappropriate or illegal. So you have everybody trying to keep you alive when the person themselves is like, look, I'm 94 years old. I've lived a great life. I'm done here. I have a great legal plan. I'm done here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Why?
My lawyer. Right.
If that's what they want, right?
Well, yeah, and you've got the medical community, which is keep people alive at all costs, and costs is probably a big word to use as well, because the amount of money that we spend, I've heard that the last year of your life is where you spend half of your money medically.
Think about that. Yeah. What is what's his name? The from
Kevorkian?
No, the actor is 100 years old now. The Irish actor that was. Did a bunch of Disney stuff. I can't remember. Anyway, his wife came out and said, yeah, it's great that he lived to 100, but there are a lot of negatives when it comes to living to 100 years old.
Yep.
I think is it Dick Van Dyke?
Van Dyke.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yes. He's still dancing.
He is. Wow. It's like, holy crap. Apparently that dancing is like 3 days in bed with a backache, unfortunately. Wow. And finally, a federal judge considering sanctions against lawyers with a high-priced firm hired to defend Alabama's prison system after ChatGPT was used to write 2 court filings that included non-existent case citations.
I learned a new phrase in kind of digging through this wormhole. It's called an AI hallucination. It's a thing. If you ask AI is like you and me. I should say it's like me, which is if you don't know the answer, you fake it. And apparently it convinced lawyers to put these case citations, which didn't exist, and they're going to get yelled at, but that's about all that's happening here. But it's a good warning to everybody to double check your work.
You really have. I mean, listen, you can use AI, but you got to go back and fact check. You literally have to fact check the AI work.
Exactly.
Because I have seen cases where it completely made something up, completely made it up, didn't even exist, and I was about to hit go, and I'm so glad I didn't. Nonetheless, there we are. Okay, great stuff, Jeremy. As always, we appreciate it, and know our superiority to Fort Myers. Just we know it.
Indeed, this is understood. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's okay. Putting a lot together here. So yeah, Andrew, boy, that guy.
All
That
right.
Andrew. That Andrew. I'm telling you. All right, Jeremy. Thank you so much. We'll do it again next week. Thank you.
Sounds good. Bye
All right,
bye.
have a great day, Jeremy Rosenthal, and the Rosenthal Report.